Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cecilia Brendel. Today at Old Masters Galleria, I'm going to try to demonstrate how to stretch a giclée canvas print. These are 100% cotton and polyester canvas prints that I have made with special ink. And what you're going to need are your stretcher bars to put together, some staples, staple gun, a stretcher, some scissors, and a little hammer. Okay, so after I get my little stretcher bars and I put them together like this, I'll end up with something like this. And then I'll square it up with a square, or if I have the frame that I'm going to be using, then I'll square it up with a frame. This way I know it's going to fit perfectly. And then once I do that, I double staple the corners, and that'll keep it real nice and secure while you're stretching. So when I begin, I get my canvas print, I trim about 1 inch around the whole thing, and then I grab the corners and I match them up to the corners of my stretcher bars, and then I begin stapling one little staple in the center on all sides. I usually start on the longest side, making sure that the corners are matching up with your canvas print and the stretcher bars. There's a couple of different ways to stretch them, but this is what I usually do, and I usually have no trouble. Alright, so I take a look at it and see which one has the most white on the side, because sometimes they're not printed exactly. And I'll begin with that. So I take that little staple out, get my stretcher, and on the first one I'm gentle at my stretch. I don't pull super taut, but I pull it enough so I know that it's coming to the edge of the stretcher bar. And then I start stretching slightly and stapling as I go down, starting in the center, and I go back and forth from the center. And I just do a few on one side, then I go back to the longest side again, pull that one out, that little secured one, and then this is where I could start pulling a little bit tighter. And I leave about 1 or 2 inches on every end. I gel my canvases up with part resin gel and part liquid, and it gives a nice protective coating, and also keeps it from ripping. Pull out that safety one, and this is where you pull a little bit tighter. There's a couple of different ways. It's nice and taut like a drum to finish the edges. I usually just cut off the excess and then tuck in and do a little fold. But you can, if you wanted to save this extra material on the other side, you can fold it over and then staple that. But I'm just going to go ahead and, because I think it helps me with my frames better. Sometimes I'll get a frame and all that excess canvas makes it a little difficult to frame. Where you left that little bit at the edge without stapling, tuck it in, and then put in your, just staple those corners together. Tuck it in. One more. nice G clay all stretched up, ready to frame. Thanks again. Come back soon.